Is Bitcoin about to bounce to 22K and have Samsung just confirmed that they're going to open an exchange in South Korea? Let's find out. Hello, welcome to Big Energy, a 100% automated copy trading bot fully managed by the Block Party trading team. It's exclusively available on Mizar, and if you want to get access, just head on over to Mizar.ai, check out the marketplace, and we're right there. If you want a truly set and forget experience with automated trading, then this is for you. There is no monthly subscription. We only get paid if we win. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us grow and bring you more awesome content. Enough yapping, let's get into those trades. As always, guys, let's start off with BTC USD, T in this case. But it doesn't really matter which chart you're looking at, providing you're getting a general scope of what's going on with Bitcoin. Because at the end of the day, it leads the market, and if we know what Bitcoin's doing, we know what trades to take. So straight away, as we've identified in previous charts and previous analysis, we're looking at an ascending wedge, and we have been looking at multiple ascending wedges recently because it's a very, very bearish pattern. And realistically, when we break down on them, then we see some extended movement in that respect. And that is exactly what we saw yesterday. So we broke out of this ascending wedge downwards and we just basically tested around about 20,900. Now there was a lot of eyes on going a little bit lower to 20,700, but we bounced quite successfully there. Now this has kind of confirmed two things. One, that there are still buyers in the market and there is still volume. However, this was on a Sunday, which is generally lower volume than weekday trading. Why? Well, there's a consensus that institutions aren't as much online over the weekends. How true that is, who knows? But one thing that I can say is we've started to confirm a bit of a broadening ascending wedge. Now, these are particularly bearish as well. I know, I feel like I'm just saying one bearish thing after another. However, it is so important to be aware of what the bearish movements are and also the bullish movements as well. Whilst Bitcoin is realistically only going to go up over time, why not try and get better positions, but also conserve that liquidity for those real dip buy moments? What are the other key things that we can identify from this? Well, we saw some real significant things pop up, most notably this weekly pivot up here, which has obviously been untested over that massive crash over the past week. Now, weekly pivots, as I've mentioned many times before on these videos, they have an extremely high chance of being filled. But what is significant about this one is the bottom of this pivot sits around about 22,000. And around about this section here as well, 21,900, we're seeing a lot of sells appear on the order books. So this is indicating that not only this trend line that's going up here, which is the top line of the broadening wedge, not only have we seen a lot of volume come in and also bounce off this bottom trend line, and we've also got this untested weekly pivot sitting around about this location just here. So potentially in the short term, we could see Bitcoin track up to around about 21,900. Like I said, there are some significant sells on the order book there that could see the price dramatically get rejected. But for the most part, it's actually looking semi-bullish short term. And when I say short term, I'm talking over the next 24 to 48 hours. Mid-term, like I said, I feel like it's going to go down. But long term, I am getting pretty bullish now. I feel that we are in the final phase of this bear cycle. But if I had to put a bet on it, then I would say that we are looking at a potential slow descent into consolidation, going downwards, potentially down to around about 18,800. I know it seems a bit bleak from here because we're looking so close, but if in doubt, zoom out. But I think we might head down in this general direction here in a kind of consolidating formation. And this is similar to what we saw back in January of 2019, where we were coming towards the very end of the bear cycle. There's a lot of other things that are confirming the floor, such as many different floor models on-chain, and most specifically, and one that I like to rely on the most, the hodl waves gives you a bit of an idea of just how minimal the movement has been for long-term held coins, such as 10 years plus. So if these long-term held coins are not moving much, that means that people are happy and potentially increasing their amounts as well. Anyway, enough about Bitcoin. Let's get into today's portfolio and where we're at. Naturally, it has been a very, very bloody couple of weeks, so we're going to be feeling that pain a little bit. But as I've mentioned before, we've been trying to eke out the profits with the short tokens here and there, and they've been very, very lucrative for us. Unfortunately, we hit a stumbling block with TRX down, but we'll get to that a bit later on. First up, we have Ape. Now, Ape has run into quite a lot of FUD, and I've just seen as well AMC and Ape stock trading has been halted. There are a few other things, and also CryptoPunks has just flipped the floor price on Ape as well. So ultimately, we're going to keep an eye on how this goes, but Ape, like Sand and Mano, those metaverse tokens, it does come back with vengeance. So we're just going to hold out. We do have a little safety order just down here, and we are only committed to one safety order at the moment. So not too worried, and I should say as a blanket comment, I'm not worried about any of our trades at the moment. Like I said, I think we are nearing the absolute bottom of Bitcoin now. So the reality is we're just going to start to isolate and target those safety orders, but not necessarily commit to any brand new trades just yet. BNB is looking great at the moment, and this thing holds like a boss. We have filled one safety order, but come on, sue me, it was 7.5%. But right now we are only 5.9% below our average buy price, and we are kind of looking at a potential little rally from Bitcoin, so I do suspect we might actually be closing this sometime soon. Next up, we have BTC, and we opened a fresh trade today. Now this is going to be a longer term hodl. Here we go. Now this is looking at potentially a bit of a longer term trade, and I'm going to be targeting towards the mid to top level of this weekly pivot. Why? Because I think I just kind of want to accumulate some BTC now. That's where I'm at with this. I mean, I might even increase this and add a couple of extra safety orders just so we can start to really reap the rewards, and maybe even target somewhere up here at around about 25k and really get some amazing profit out of it. We're looking around about 18 to 20%, which is pretty excellent. It's currently set at 7% so at the moment, which is where we'll sit and just kind of see how everything goes. If we do drop down, then you better believe that I'm going to be accumulating. Our trade today is Chiz or CHZ or Chili's, whatever you want to call it. Very much within the world of sports, and this was actually a trade that I did put a hodl out in today in the premium channel. So if you do want to know the more finer details of that hodl, then you've got to join premium, I'm afraid. But this is how it's looking, and yes, that is a 30% target and intentional. Why? Well, I feel there's going to be a lot of hype around sporting tokens and fan tokens leading up to the World Cup. Like I said, along with Crow before, this is going to be one of the biggest sporting events of the past 4 years, as it is every 4 years. So now crypto seems to be not fully integrated, but certainly integrated within the world of it. I think it's going to put a lot of eyes on it, and naturally the two front runners for that are going to be Chili's and also Crow. So just going to hold this one out. It could be a bit of a longer term hold, but depending on anything that comes out around this news, then it could look pretty good. Not to mention there's still some other news articles going on for it. EGLD is just a pretty great token. I'm not going to go too deep into the analysis on this one, but this is where we're looking for our next safety order just down here, which is sitting at $48.94. Why? Because we have some quite significant support just there. With all of these tokens with pretty good fundamentals and good basis behind it, we're not going to be going in too heavy, too deep. I do only have 2 safety orders on this one at the moment. I did actually add a few safety orders to a couple of assets today. One was EGLD to bring the price down. It was sitting around about minus 18%, and this has brought it down to about minus 11% now. And the hope for that one is that we're going to see a bit of a rally from Bitcoin that could end up closing out some of these trades. HNT is actually looking pretty miserable. It's causing me a bit of a headache at the moment. I'm not going to lie, because we are coming down now and challenging the final kind of key local support. As you can see here, during that horrible capitulation phase that went all the way down to this price, and we're now actually trading just below it. So for the time being, that is it for safety orders. And we're just going to leave this and see where it lands. Like I said, this is my only troublesome trade that we've got so far. But like I said, am I worried? Not at all, because we have so much allocation left and so little exposure that we can get out of this one. But we do need to start seeing some bullish confirmation, which right now we're not. IOTX, we only have one safety order in this, and we're about minus 14% down. It's a pretty good asset, and we do have some news circulating around it. Our next safety order is right down here, and again, not going to be too aggressive on this one. I'm just going to let this one play out. we do on a lot of these assets have these untested weekly pivots that are sitting somewhat in the profit. And right now that is kind of key to where I want to be. I want to make sure that my take profit price is below significant resistance, which is a good start. And also if we can get it into these key areas like untested weekly pivots, then equally that is absolutely brilliant. We're on KDA at the moment, and this has not fared ever so well, to be honest, in the whole recent bearish turn on Bitcoin. Our next safety order is, we're going to put it quite far away at the moment. We do have two safety orders in this right now. And also there is a untested weekly pivot up here. So a bit of a conundrum what to do here, whether to try and aggressively bring this down and get this weekly pivot done, or we should just let nature take its course, drop down, maybe fill this safety order right down here, and or just wait for a bit of a bullish turn to come into play. Clay, we dropped on another safety order quite recently today, again to try and target us getting down closer to this weekly pivot, which is where we want to be. And our next safety order is quite far down here at 0.212. And, you know, that is still a good 21% down from the average buy price. It's still about a further 10% down from the current price where it is. So nothing too dramatic, and we're going to let that one play out. LDO. We have currently one safety order in this. This is, as I do rave about LDO a lot, and it's got a lot of good fundamentals behind it and a lot of institutional interest on it. And you can see the kind of damage that it does once it gets a little bit of a confirmed bounce. That went up 24%. I'm expecting something pretty similar. If we get some sort of rally, then we push it up. I might actually add another safety order on this one just to bring down the average buy price to somewhere within a closable region. So at the moment, that's still got quite a lot of work to do. LPT, my FOMO trade, this has stacked it, you know, but as has most of the trades within the past week or so. You know, Bitcoin is the market leader, and that's what it's going to do. But we are coming down to a pretty key support level now, which is quite nice to see. As you can see, all these little peaks that we're seeing just here, that's more or less what we want to be seeing. See it a little bit clearer now. That's more or less what we want to be seeing. And we're coming down here. We do, I guess, in essence, have a bit of a potential bullish pennant that looks like there with these triangle lines. But I think we could actually be finding some level of support. It is very, very predicated on what Bitcoin's going to do. And if we are looking at a bit of a Bitcoin rally, then hopefully we can start to drive the price up. We're not going to commit anything else to that trade at the moment. And next on the cards, we have Mana. So here we go. One of our more preferred tokens, Metaverse ones. We did actually add a safety order to this today to help bring the price down a little bit. We're still quite some distance off the price, around 14% down. But these things can, as we know, can turn around pretty quickly. So we've got about 17% to go to get back up there, and a couple of pretty key resistances to get through. However, Metaverse tokens are always the ones to go first. Mina, and we're seeing a lot of rinse and repeat for a lot of the assets at the moment. They've been hit very hard by Bitcoin. We only have one safety order in this, and you'll see just how high these are at the moment. But like I said, there's only one safety order, so we're not going to be worrying too much or really adding anything until we see some much more significant drop in that one. Sand, I did add a further safety order to today. We aren't too far off the next key safety order down there. However, we're just going to wait until Bitcoin does its thing to ride on up. We have SHIB, which is one of our new trades today. We have so much going on with SHIB. There's the launch of Shiba Infinity game, the testnets on the horizon, and the new burn mechanism that's being done with Amazon, which is, you know, it's one of those things. SHIB has a lot of tokens in supply for sure. So this burn mechanism won't be doing massive damage in the too much of a short term. But like with anything, if you reduce the supply, then you increase the potential demand, but also how valuable it is. So quite organically, this is probably going to go up. And so we got into that trade today. After this recent pump, I think this is a really nice point to get into on this key retest. So yeah, let's see how that one goes. As you can see, this trade over here, much bigger targets. And this is my personal speculation of where I do actually think Shiba is going to go. But again, if you want the further finer details on that trade, then jump into the premium channel. Sol, I added on another safety order today. There's a lot of speculation going on with Sol at the moment, but at the end of the day, it's one of the big high caps. There's a lot of people invested in it. So I do think whatever Bitcoin does, this is going to follow quite closely. And as I said, Bitcoin, I think, or feel, hopefully it's going to start to rally. Serum, we are still only on one safety order for this at the moment. We're not going to commit anything further until we maybe get to down here to a key support. By the way, all these key supports are pretty much in line with where I feel Bitcoin's floor is going to be. So if we do get down there, then I feel like that's a really good place to be buying within at least a certain bracket. Because if it does dip down and it flies back up, I do really want to catch those. And with a lot of these, if I've only got one safety order, I can afford to be a little bit knife catchy, and that will bring down the average buy price by so much and do a lot of the legwork for us. Whilst also I think the rally will be pretty fast and hard. This is the trade that, really caused me a bit of frustration. Of course, I never want to blame it on the tools, but this was a real pain because right when this dumped, so TRX was dumping as well, so that should have flown up instead of flowing down. And since then, obviously, Bitcoin started to rally a little bit, which then brought the TRX down, further down, which is, like I said, a bit frustrating. But what we are looking at the moment is potentially a little breakout. We've seen a bit of a rally today, which is quite nice, which means TRX is going down somewhat. To be pretty much honest, the entire market is going down. But we managed to get into Chile's, which is about the only asset that's going up. And, of course, TRX as well, which is going up, which is quite nice. Last but not least, we have XRP. This is the other asset that I'm actually debating putting in another safety order. But the reality is we're only about 8% down. So I think that's going to be a little bit pointless. The only reason I'll be doing that is just simply to add more capital to the trade, just to increase the take profit, which is a bit of a risky strategy if it goes the other way. So I generally like to kind of keep my take profits or safety order 2s to around about 15% onwards, maybe even 20% at times if things are going particularly bad. But yeah, that's just kind of, it helps you really stagger them and not overcommit too much to any trades. So as a bit of a nutshell at the moment, we're just waiting on Bitcoin to start to show a few more bullish signs. I don't think it's wise to add any short tokens to the board just yet. As I said, I think we could be seeing a bit of a rally. I think once we get to around about that 20, where are you? BTC. Once we get to around about this 21,900 region, that's when I think would be pretty good, potentially to be looking at some shorts. Because if nothing else, if it does break out, I think we could see a bit of a retest down at that point, that region at some point. If not, if it does go absolutely ballistic and break out quite a lot, I think at this region we could start to DCA back down quite nicely. So I wouldn't be too worried. However, if we got into some trades now and that was it and it just pumped up, we'd have a real difficult time getting out of some of these DCA trades. You got to remember with short tokens that there is no upper limit, so they are exponentially more risky than long tokens. Because, at the end of the day, the market does have a gradual incline pretty much from the start of time. Whereas short tokens, if you get on the wrong end of that, then you could literally be chasing this for the rest of your allocation, which is not ideal. So short tokens are inherently more risky, even within spot, so just be wary of them. Anyway, guys, I hope that gives you a good insight into what the portfolio is doing today, Bitcoin, and also a little bit of market analysis. If you want to follow this, then jump on Mizar, where you can follow it to the T. Everything gets done for you. Of course, give us a like and a subscribe. It fills us with a warm and fuzzy feeling. Until next time.